5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, live from Harlem, New York. Hey, everybody, this is Alex Bennett. This is the Ramble. We go from now until midnight Eastern Time. And a good evening to all of you. I'm glad you're all here. Look at me. I'm wearing a sweater tonight. It makes my face look more pale, though. That's the problem. I guess I probably should wear something that's not as well, anyway. Hi, how are you? What's happening? Listen, I think that it would be a good time for us to check in, as we do once every couple of weeks, with an ex-wife. Ladies and gentlemen, that smiling face you see there is my ex-wife. It's Ronnie Bennett. Hello, Ronnie.
Hello, Alex.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Oh, yeah. You know.
Have you celebrated?
No, I'm going out to dinner right after we're through with this. My little birthday dinner. You know.
A what dinner?
A birthday dinner.
Birthday dinner.
Yeah.
What is it?
At a restaurant.
Are you going somewhere special?
Yeah, we're going to Lydia Bastianich's place, and she has we love her restaurants. Okay, they're just very good. Anyway,
all right.
And I'm wearing my made 1939 T-shirt cap here. I'm out of it today. So,
which birthday is this?
You don't know? This is the big one. 80.
80. Oh, right. 80. Sorry, I'm a little slow this afternoon.
1939. 1989.
Yes. You know, it's been a busy morning. I'm a little slow.
Oh, okay. All right. What have you been doing that's been keeping you so busy?
Just a bunch of stuff around the house, a bunch of blog stuff, and I had to go down to OHSU because I have a port in my chest where they put liquids in me or take out blood, and it has to be flushed every month if I'm not using it, which I'm not these days much. Otherwise, terrible things happen, I guess. So, it was an hour round trip for a 5-minute procedure.
you know what? It's suddenly hitting me, because I'm talking to you and I'm going through something myself, that it's just all these little things that they do to you to keep you up to date. I mean, you're talking about having a port.
It's sort of like a computer, isn't it? They've got to update us every once in a while.
Well, I was thinking, you've got a port. What is it? A USB connector?
Yes,
or is it or is it Ethernet?
Yeah, they do. They just update me once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. But if it's from Microsoft, if it's Apple, they update it every other day. That's the problem.
Do you know that you and I, this is your birthday, and we'll talk about such things.
Yeah.
Is that as desperately old as we are nowadays? You're now 80. I'm still 78. We've known each other for about 60 of those years.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I met you when I was about 18, 19.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're probably I'm trying to think about it. I think you're my oldest living friend. Really, I'm serious. I had a friend, Roy Trumbull. Do you remember Roy Trumbull at all?
I do.
And Roy died a couple of years ago. And he was like my high school friend,
Who was the guy who lived in Boston who came to see us in New York once?
Oh, God. Who was that? I don't remember. You got to refresh my...
He's a friend of yours who lived in Boston, though, but I think you'd known him from school in California.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember his name right now.
There's one other guy, but I don't talk to him that often, who I did go to, was with in high school. But you're the only one I talk to on a regular basis.
I don't know anybody that I've known as long as you. I don't know what that means. I'm just saying
Well, that's your bad luck. But anyway,
it.
yeah,
We're coming toward the end of the year,
yeah.
and I published a blog post today about resolutions for the new year, which I don't do, but that, given my predicament of cancer and COPD, I feel good. But who knows with these two things? What's
By
going to
the way,
get me?
by the way, we've got a bet going on here. I've been taking good odds on this thing. Which will get you first, the COPD or the cancer?
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. I'm saying.
Well, I mean, either might, but I'm feeling good, so we're not going to think about that right now.
I figure I'm going to
But I
drop dead
wanted
before
to,
that.
given my predicament,
Yeah.
Either of which can take my life away. Instead of resolutions, because I was thinking about, I don't think resolutions work for when you're this old. You've done pretty much. How much self-improvement can I do? I don't really care anymore.
Well,
I am what I am.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that I want to be sure. I used to want to live long enough to hear the Mueller report. Now I want to. I'm pretty sure, unless a car hits me, that I'll get through this impeachment thing. But I want to see the election in November, because with or without Trump, whether that some miracle happens and they remove him from office or not, and he continues, that's going to be the most momentous election of our lives, that yours and my long lives.
Maybe, and I hate to say this, but maybe ever in the history of the United States. Because I think
I don't know that I don't even need to go there.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is I think more is dependent.
We weren't there, and you and I are not history buffs, so we don't know what went on in old elections way back. And I don't think that's important to make that comparison.
Yeah.
It's just, for people that are coming up like you and me, if we live long enough, we're coming up on 100 years. I have two friends in their 90s who are coming up on 100 years. And certainly in our lifetime, nothing never has so much been riding on an election as this one upcoming.
I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
And I want to be there. I want to see what happens. After that, everybody younger than I has to deal with it. But I want to see what happens.
Well, if he gets reelected, the good news is you'll want to die.
That's just terrible. That's just terrible. And and it's going to be, after the vote today, we're going to see some interesting responses from the president.
Yeah. Well, I was mentioning this to somebody on another call today, and it's true that I am watching a thing on the universe. It talks about Mars 1 billion years ago. 4 billion.
Puts a few things in perspective.
Excuse me. I got it wrong. 4 billion years ago.
Okay.
And so that amounts to us just being this tiny speck in time. Okay? Even if we live to be 100, we're going to be an insignificant little speck in time. And everybody on this planet right now is just an insignificant speck in time. And I wish Donald Trump realized that. That he's not this. Okay? You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's no point in going there, though, because it won't happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm a speck.
I don't know how this happened to us. I mean, I think especially if you live in New York, or anybody who has done that in the last 30, 40 years, understood who Donald Trump was. I mean, he showed up in the tabloids, I don't know, with some new girlfriend now and then. I mean, and on Howard Stern. He showed up on a Howard Stern show a lot. But he was always a kind of laughing stock. I mean, It wasn't anybody you took seriously.
Yes, right. Right, but America voted for a laughingstock, and what does that say about America?
well, that bothers me a lot, that there's that solid 40% behind Trump that never ever wavers. And how could there 40% of the population of the United States thinks this is the right kind of president for a country?
Well, you had that kind of support. I'll tell you, a part of that support comes from the fact that he was on TV. Okay, and then
But it hasn't wavered in 3 years.
But if you think about Ronald Reagan, a lot of it had to do because he was a movie star.
Yeah, but at least he could behave in public.
Yeah.
It's just, and he respected people who were, what do we call them, professional. Okay, we could let her come in.
Well, she would. I've told her when we're talking not to come in. So you want me to shout out the door and have her come in?
I mean, he understood that there were professionals in the government business, and he worked with them.
Yeah.
You may or may not have liked his politics.
Yeah.
But he behaved like a grown-up president.
Yeah. He was a grown-up. Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
And now we don't have a grown-up in the White House.
Yeah.
And
gee, let me ask you a question. How bad does Nixon look now?
Oh, that
Well,
there was somebody on TV this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, it must have been Chris. What's his last name? That's on MSNBC. The white-haired guy in the evening.
Oh, yeah, Chris Matthews.
Matthews. Yeah. That's what I couldn't remember. And he said that he had covered all 3 of the impeachments that we've had in our lifetime.
Wow.
And I hadn't realized I hadn't really thought about it, but there were 3.
Yeah.
There was Nixon and Clinton and now Trump.
Right.
I somehow I'd only thought there were 2, and that Andrew Johnson.
They're only 2 because they never got around to the impeachment hearings or the impeachment proceedings on Nixon because he resigned. Yeah.
But I just hadn't put much thought to that.
Yeah.
At any rate, I want to live till November 4 and see, or long enough to see the outcome if it takes a long counting procedure when we get there. I want to know what choice America makes next November.
Yeah. That would be fascinating. I just don't think. I don't know. I mean, my wife, who you just saw a few moments ago, she's constantly saying to me, "He's going to win. Trump's going to win re-election."
I don't think it's out of the question.
Well, I don't think it's out of the question either because I don't think the Democrats have come up with anybody. I mean, there's nobody in the party who engenders the kind of groundswell from people going, "I like that guy." I think he's great.
That's really interesting. I've been saying that for a while. I put it in a little bit different way, but I think we're meaning the same thing, is that there's no one on the Democratic side who inspires me.
Yeah. I mean, Biden? Nah. Elizabeth Warren? She's smart, but don't care about her. And Bernie, old heart attack Bernie, after the heart attack, nobody wants a president who could keel over at any moment.
That doesn't seem to be so in the polls.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying is I don't think Bernie would make a very good president. I think he's a good senator. I think he's got some good ideas. I don't think he'd be a very good president.
I will vote for whatever Democrat they put up.
Yeah, I mean they could put up
unless there's somebody they haven't brought along yet that is too objectionable. Any one of them will do for me.
They could put up Daffy Duck, and I would vote for him on the Democratic Party. But I just don't know what Buttigieg. The one thing about Buttigieg I like is that he is so different from Trump that there is a definite, there's an age difference, there's a looks difference. He's a good-looking guy. He's religious. He's got a. If you tick off all the things you would want for a president, Buttigieg kind of fits those. I mean, military, three tours. Went what he graduated from? I think Yale, right? Was it Yale or Harvard? I can't remember. One or the other.
So many Democrats
But
for
top
me
of
to
his
read out
class.
their background.
I mean, he's got everything over Donald Trump, who was actually just a dumb goofus. That's about it, you know. Plus, he side by side with Trump looks fat and dumpy, and Buttigieg looks
Well,
like
I
he's
don't
ready
think
for
that-
business.
I'm not interested in their looks, fat or skinny, you know, and that doesn't have any bearing on who I would vote for.
Not who
But
you would vote for, but I do think that we've argued this before, that cosmetics are very important because we're dealing in an age of
I bet
television.
nobody seems to care about him. He got elected.
We're living in an age of television and social media and so on, and you need somebody who looks good in those venues. Just like, you know, with Lincoln, you need somebody to look good from the back of a train. The venues for president, I claim FDR won because his voice sounded great on radio.
Could be.
You
I don't
know.
know. I don't think that's. You're going to have to just live with what I'm about to say.
Kennedy.
I don't think that
Yeah.
that is a proper way to make a choice.
No, it's not a proper way to make a choice, but the medium of the day tends to dictate what kind of candidate you have to have. Kennedy was our first television president.
Can we talk about something else? I can't
Sure.
tell you how much this bores me.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. Change the subject. Do whatever you want to do.
No, I don't care about their looks. It's not. We're at the brink of oblivion, and you're talking about good looks. I mean,
Okay. Well,
I want to know
yeah.
if you have any resolutions or thoughts or things you want or will do in the new year.
Well, I never made resolutions ever. And part of the reason is because obviously you're going to break them, you know. And
People who don't make them, you're also smug.
you know, well, making a resolution says that you necessarily did something wrong and you want to correct
That's
that
not
behavior.
what it says. There's something about your life you would like to be different.
Oh, okay. I want to be a Hollywood movie star this year. That's my resolution. I don't know. I don't have any resolution. What? You wrote about it. At my age, making a resolution is, you know.
It can be other things. Like mine is just I want to see if I can hope to live long enough to see the next election.
Okay, let me see. What's my resolution?
I
for
mean,
the
if there's
next year?
nothing there, that's not a resolution. That's just something you want in the new year.
It's something I want in the new year. Oh, boy. I don't know. I don't have anything. I really don't.
Well, then that's good. You're very happy then.
No, I've never been very happy. You know that. You know, actually, I have been a little more positive lately, and it has a lot to do with my physical condition that's going on, and it's made me more. For instance, I say, why do I have prostate cancer? And the answer to that is because you're 80 years old.
No, it's because why don't you have it?
Well, when you're
No,
80,
why not you?
when you're 80, your chances are very high you're going to have prostate cancer, whether it's a heavy case or a low case. I've got a medium case. But the point is that I then had the sudden feeling that, well, the reason I've got it is because I'm 80 years old. That's the good news. I'm 80 years old. I could have died at 75 and never had prostate cancer. You know what I'm saying?
Are you going to have a cake with 80 candles?
And no, we don't want to cause a fire.
You're right. That's a big deal birthday.
It is a big deal birthday. Yeah. You know, because when I was younger, and I always loved thinking about the future and the flying cars and things that we would have. And none of those came to pass, by the way. What I don't have, and I was hoping for, and I was told I was going to have, is a household butler. Okay,
A household what?
butler or maid. Who,
Many people have those.
well, they're Roombas and things like that, but we don't have. I thought it was going to be a robot, wearing an apron, like on the Jetsons. But anyway, didn't have that. But I wanted to live long enough to see the future, and I said, 2000's a long way away. I don't know if I'm going to live to be 70. Who knows if I'm going to live to be 70?
Isn't that funny? When I was young, I would guess, teens, 20s,
Yeah.
and I thought about that some people live to be that long. I would have been, what was I in 2000? I'm 79, I'm 78, 68, 58. I thought that was, I didn't think I necessarily would live that long, even though I knew plenty of people did, but that a lot of people died by that age, which wasn't true. I just thought so.
Yeah, but I didn't think I would live to see this. Okay, if somebody said 2020, I would go, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make it till then. I hope I do. I hope I can see what the world's like. And by the way, now that I see what the world's like, I'm not that. It doesn't make me feel that good about the
Climate change changes everything, doesn't it?
climate change.
You don't have to ask the questions, of course
but
it
also
does.
the promise of technology is not that good either when you consider things like identity theft and things like that, all the things that go on. And by the way, all the things that break down. I spend most of my time servicing this network by fixing computers that break down or programs that aren't working anymore.
I've had I was just complaining to someone on the phone about an hour ago that today when he called, I didn't answer the phone because my cell phone didn't ring. And sometimes it no longer rings, but I have no idea which phone, if it doesn't ring, I don't know I've got a phone call. And then as I told you, I had to go to this quickie appointment at the medical center, and a little thing on my screen popped up after I got home to tell me I had an appointment there in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I had made that happen on purpose. My reminder pop up.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen till I got home. So all my technology is going to hell.
Yeah, well, I had all my technology go to hell a couple of days ago, and one of the things that went is I actually put in something here where I could say, Echo, turn on the studio, and it would turn on this light over here. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, all that went to hell because FiOS decided they were going to change my Wi-Fi setup. And now it won't work because these things only work on like a 2.4 megahertz. And
please don't do the details.
It recommends the 5. I mean, it's just that I liked it when I had to just go over and turn on the switch. That's it.
As I was just discussing with someone, I think it was Barry Diller.
Yeah.
Hello.
Wait, I'm trying to turn down something because I was hearing some sound. Yeah.
I think it was Barry Diller many years ago, probably in the mid or late 1990s. He'd been head of big Hollywood studio and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't anymore. And he wrote this article, he'd spent a year studying technology, personal computers, because they were brand new then. Not all that many of us had home computers. And because of who he was able to hang out with Bill Gates and what's the Oracle guy and Steve Jobs and all those people. And he wrote this article about what he discovered, and his conclusion was, this is going to be a wonderful thing for everybody some way, but it won't do us any good until it works as easily as a light switch.
Well, and that's true.
Right. He's right, and it still doesn't work as easily as a light switch.
And then they go around deciding they're going to change something you're using, like they change Skype or whatever, and they go to a worse version. Yeah. They always upgrade it to a worse version. Oh, well, this looks great because somebody who's in their technical department is like jerking off at the latest thing that he created for Skype, and it just makes it worse, not better, for me and for you. But he doesn't care about him. He's a technological guy. He thinks it's whiz-bang.
Well, I'm waiting for it to be as easy as a light switch. Yeah. Maybe that'll happen in the next year.
So did you say you had something else you wanted to talk about, too? or have you covered all your ticked off
Well,
all your?
there's one thing I just wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
Is that the last evening or this morning? I must have been this morning. I was looking at your show on GabNet,
Yeah.
and you have the most wonderful New York City opening. Oh, God, do I love that.
Yeah, I do
played
too.
it over and over and over again. It was just beautiful, New York.
Yeah, that's fairly new because I suddenly discovered that I could do it, and play it on the show as an opening, and so I use
It's
that
just
show.
wonderful. It brought tears to my eyes. I wanted to be living back there again. Well, I do that every day.
Unfortunately, the rest of the show doesn't live up to the opening. So,
Well, I got to the end of it, and then backed up and started again and did it several times. It's not only, is it just wonderful New York Pictures video, but you did a beautiful job of putting it together. It's really good.
yeah, it's all footage I buy, but it looks great. I love the opening. After that, the show sucks. It promises a lot with the opening. You expect some guy to come out in front of a curtain, go, "Hi, everybody, how are ya?"
Here's Johnny.
Here's Alex. Yeah, instead you got a guy sitting in front of his DVDs. But
DVDs are kind of old-fashioned now.
I know. I put most of them on my computer and.
You've gone through one by one and
there used to be a lot more, but I've done about, I guess, many hundreds of DVDs onto files because they preserve better that way and they don't take up as much space.
But the time involved with the transfer is what I'm thinking.
I just can't believe I bought all these damn things. Think of all the money I'd have today if I hadn't bought these DVDs.
You used to do the same thing with record albums. No, CDs.
CDs. Well, yeah, but I got them for free from record companies, you may remember. So what the hell? Anyway, so we're all Takakas. Is that what this is? Is that the sum total of what we just talked about?
Being old is a wonderful thing. You could be dead.
Well, that's not exactly a consolation for being old. Hey, you could be dead. I'll tell you, want to know the bad thing about being old? You could be young.
Why are people? It's the normal. America is just so screwed up. The whole bunch of life is that up until 40 you're a wonderful person, and after 40 we just don't pay any attention to you anymore. And it's gotten younger and younger and younger. And worse, all the people have adopted that attitude of, "Oh, I'm old, it's terrible."
Well, we're running a little bit over here, but I want to ask you a question. Would you want to be a kid growing up today?
No.
Because it's got to be a struggle. It's got to be a real struggle.
I was discussing this with a few people yesterday of what our lives were like when we were little kids and for little kids now. And one who's got grandchildren who have children, she said they can't ever let the kids go out to play alone. They always have to go to the park.
Yes.
That's unsafe it's become. Or at least they think it's that unsafe. I don't know which it is.
My parents said to me, just be home before dark.
Yeah, same thing with me.
And I went out and I'm like 10 years old. I'm out wandering around. I used to go to the movie theater, which was a mile away, all by myself, we...
know what? They would send us out to play in the good weather, and you could tell it was dinner time because pretty soon every mother in the neighborhood was out yelling their kids' names to come home.
And by the way, nobody, when we were younger, put little plugs on the light sockets, on the electric socket, so we wouldn't put our finger in there. They allowed us to put our finger in there because once we did it once, we never did it again.
I don't think the finger matters. I think the problem was putting something metal in there.
Yeah. But, kids are so overly protected today. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's overly. I'm not a mother. I don't know. But
yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Well, I did not raise any children.
Okay.
And what they were talking about is contemporary mothers now don't feel good about letting their kids go out to play alone. They don't do it. I don't know if that's overprotective or if that's a real threat. I have no idea. But whatever the result is, the kid, if mom's busy, the kid is stuck in the house.
I mean, what's this shit with play dates? When I was a kid, I went over to my friend's house and knocked on the door. What's with play dates?
I mean, it's, what's interesting? I wonder.
Yeah.
Before us.
Yeah.
I wonder if there were as many changes in a lifetime, culturally, socially, every other way too, as there have been in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, just what we're talking about now, of how kids were treated and whether they could go out and play safely or not. When we were little compared to now, that's a gigantic change. Gigantic.
Yep.
That you don't feel safe anyway. I don't know if you can't, but don't feel safe allowing your child out of the house alone.
Well, I'm going to say goodbye to you now.
On that note,
and wish you a happy New Year and a happy Kwanzaa, in case you're black. And
hey, it's Christmas too, and there's Hanukkah in there. Don't forget. And
yeah, it's all the pressure holidays are on us right now. The pressure to give gifts and then the pressure to have fun, and I hate that
and you
kind
threw
of.
your birthday in just for good measure.
Birthday for good measure, which everybody forgets because Christmas is coming up. So,
Yes.
Anyway.
My brother was born on the 21st of December, and my mother always gave him a birthday party in July. Because people would come at Christmas time and said, I couldn't think of two things, so here's one for both, for birthday and Christmas. So she felt he got cheated, so she gave him a birthday party in July.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Ronnie Bennett. TimeGoesBy.net is her place to go see all her writings and her musings. And
Such as they are.
And I will do what everybody does this time of the year. I'll see you next year.
Oh, will it be next year next time? Yes, it will be. It'll be the first next time we talk.
Yeah, it sure will.
Well, happy birthday until then.
And a happy New Year and a merry whatever.
Whatever, yes.
Hanukkah, because you converted to Judaism, which makes you more Jewish than me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie Bennett. Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Boy, what was that? Let me see. Let me try that again here. Let me see if it.
5 years and.
Oh, really? And how about this?
5 years and still talking.
Okay.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
What was that, though? This.
5 years and.
Wow. No telling why these things happen. I give up. And every night something goes wrong. Oh, boy. Fuck me. Fuck them. Fuck everything. Let's see now if the phones work okay. The Skype. If the Skype works okay. All right. Let me see here. Let me get some. Oh, there we go.
Skype.
Whoops. Hello there. Oh.
Yay, it works.
It works. Well, so far.
Yay.
Wait a minute. We have to see here. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got to see if we can get you on. Let me see here. This would be Bob J. Kazoo. Let me see if that's there. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There she is. Hi, Kathleen. How are you this evening, Schmoody?
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Hey, I'm looking a little pale. It's because I decided I went out to dinner tonight. And so I was wearing this, so I figured I'd still wear the sweater. It'd be nice. But somehow,
Actually, you look good in that color.
Yeah, but it makes my face pale.
Oh, whatever.
Now I've got to go put some makeup on. Jeez.
Oh.
Make myself look better.
Not.
Anyway, that's a schmoody. Oh, wait a minute. Here comes Charlie Wallace. Let me see here what happens with Charlie. Let's go to, we put him in the number 2 spot. Let me see. First, I got to get a picture of him. There we go. Now let me see. Charlie Wallace. So there he is. Okay. Hello, Charlie. How are
Happy
you?
birthday, Alex.
Thank you very much. Here comes Phil. Uh, he's standing up, however. I don't know why, but and now he's sitting down.
It's Phil's belly.
Hey, you're an octogenarian.
Yeah, Phil, why are you so close? Why is your camera
I'm not that close. I got to adjust the camera.
Yeah, go adjust your camera.
You can complain about technology.
Yeah. I always complain about technology. I have no idea what this was. I still don't get it. Listen to this.
I heard that. What the hell was that?
Oh, now it's working okay. Now it's working okay. Okay. I don't know. It's just every night something has to fuck up on me, you know.
Yeah.
But I do think we're going out there okay, and that's fine, and you know that's good. All right. Anyway, let me see here. Let me also do that. Okay. All right. So how are you all tonight?
Good.
We're good.
Good. Yeah.
Younger than you.
Oh, fuck you. Do we have to have you that close, Phil? God.
I'm trying to adjust it. It's not.
God damn it.
It's not doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Let me quit quit that software.
Yeah.
And I'll go to the Logitech camera.
Yeah.
Software. There it is.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
Yeah, and then let's see what happens here, if he gets it going. Anyway, but tonight everything seemed to work okay until I played that. I said the stuff is playing right, all the stuff is working, nothing's going bad, and then all of a sudden, boom. Yeah. What's happening at Kathleen's house?
They're having a party.
There's a party outside.
Well, I went to Safeway and I got my son some, pumpkin pie. He can't have dairy. So I got some non-dairy creamer, and then I got myself some German chocolate cake, but he's into the whipped cream. And every time my cat, kitty girl, loses her mind, she's like, hey, where's mine?
Everybody's a little out of sync tonight, I think, but I'm not quite sure. Well, fuck it. I give up.
Maybe I'm speaking another language, but it's dubbing it in English.
Yes, right. What we can do is next year we can just not do the video anymore, just do audio, and then I don't have to worry about 99.9% of this shit, including the fact that we see every pimple on Phil's face.
I tried restoring it to defaults. I went to webcam control. It's not allowing me to reduce the size. I'll call back. Maybe that'll fix it.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
I doubt it. That wouldn't fix it. It's something in your. You just have to. Isn't there something that allows you to adjust your camera?
Yeah, but it's not working. It's all grayed out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Hang up and restart.
Call again.
Restart Skype. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. There he goes. He'll freeze up on us, folks. Oh boy! And now my ass is hurting me tonight. I don't know.
Or we're gonna call him Big Head Phil.
Big Head Phil. Yeah. Big head. Anyway, so.
Or Big Ass Phil.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm 80 now. You can all stop listening because nobody wants to listen to old people.
Oh, come on. So where'd you go for dinner?
We went to Lydia Bastianich's place. There's a place that she has called Boppo, and this thing called Bebo, I think. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it was in a rough part of town to get to because of the current problems with the what can we call it? With the fact that it's Christmas season,
right?
And during Christmas season, everybody is downtown, and it was just it was crazy. It was just nuts getting there. But once we got there, it was okay. But geez,
Nice.
almighty, it was. Anyway, we're being joined here by let's see here by Tom Yamaguchi as well. Hello, Tom. How are you?
Hey,
Yeah.
here you have some snow today.
Kind of. You know, it was kind of slushy, a little bit coming down, then not at all, and then some, and then some rain. It's a really horrible night. So it was a horrible time to try and go out to dinner in Midtown New York. And but we got there, and it was worth every moment of it because I ordered a steak that may be the best steak I've ever eaten. I mean, it was
Nice.
just perfect. It was perfectly cooked. It was tasty. It had nice little amount of fat on it, so it was good.
Marbling,
Oh,
nice.
marbling, really nice. We had some calamari. We always order the calamari.
Sweet.
We're a sucker for
Yes.
the calamari. And the calamari was good. What was really good was the sauce itself. And then she had fish. And then she ordered a dessert because she told them it was my birthday. And so she had to order the dessert because I wasn't going to order one. And so it came with a candle. So, but I blew it out and I made a wish.
Nice.
And then I felt bad about making a wish because I wished for something for me and I really should have wished for somebody else. Something for somebody else.
Or for both you and Marjorie.
I've become less selfish as the years have gone on. I know that's hard to understand, Tom, because you've known me a long time. But yeah.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. It's nice of you to wish me a happy birthday. Let me see here. Let me go to get Jeff on here. Let's see here. If you're in there, then he could go into number 5. And we go Stein Zeller. He's always at the bottom of the list because I guess because of either the Z or the Stein or the something. And let me see here. Let me just do this. And there's hi there, Jeff. How are you?
Good. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday to you too. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know when your birthday is, and I want to beat the rush. That's all.
Okay.
You know.
You know, Alex, even in your 50s, you were not selfish.
Huh? Oh,
You were not selfish, even in your 50s, because when I met you, you had to have been 56, 57.
Well, I don't know about that. I think I've been a pretty selfish person most of my life. I think. Okay.
You know, really not when it came to me and my family. I mean, maybe there were other things you might have been selfish with, but you were actually a really sweet person.
Well, that's nice of you to say. But I always consider myself selfish because I was always self-consumed about things, you know. So.
Well, you were, but you were also surrounded by some real a-holes.
Oh, so I look better compared to them.
Oh
Is that
my
what you're
God,
saying?
did you? I mean, once your career started, you know, once that whole thing started going, I just remember thinking, holy shit, he's going to realize who his true friends are and who aren't.
Yeah. I don't know why why this thing is out of sync tonight. For some reason.
Ba, 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 ba.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'm not out of sync. The rest of you are. So fuck it. You know. Actually, it's Kathleen that's out of sync. You're not, Jeff. Talk to me, Jeff, a second.
Do you want me to call back?
No, don't call back.
Okay.
Jeff, talk to me. Say something.
Yeah. Hello. I'm here.
He's
Why,
perfect.
does this sound strange?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just all the things that are going on Skype here on the air pictures are a little.
Birthday.
God bless you.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Anyway, so
Or as they used to say, stop sneezing.
yeah.
That's what my son says. Or what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, so I don't know. I just always thought I was kind of a little bit on the selfish side, you know. I mean, I did stuff for people, you know. I think I was.
So what?
What's with her?
Yeah, what's it for?
Don't give it to the rest of us for crying out loud.
Really?
You know. Anyway, let's
Can't
see
get
if Phil's
sick.
there now. Phil should be there. There you are, Phil.
Right
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And small again.
Okay.
I got the flu shot.
Now you see, he's in sync. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
I'm a member of a boy band.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Breakdancing.
Very
Yeah,
funny.
don't start break dancing.
Very funny,
Throw
Phil.
some
The
cobweb
only
on.
thing that'll break if I dance is my hip.
I'll tell you what I
Give me
was.
like that.
Tony.
You get down and never get back up.
What I was thinking of is this is the last week that we'll be doing shows this year. Because
Stand is
we're not doing not doing Christmas Eve, so we're off from Christmas Eve to New Year's, the day after New Year's, the 2nd. So, we have 2 more shows for this year, and then that's it. Yeah. So. I just thought I'd mention.
Okay.
Huh?
Sure.
Okay.
Everyone's real quiet. They're like,
Yeah.
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 I have to talk to my mother for a night.
Yeah.
for 2
I was
weeks.
about to give her happy pills an hour earlier.
Yep.
Oh, look, you're tired. Good night. I'm joking.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. But anyway, everybody's out of sync. I don't understand it. Oh, well, fuck it.
Phil froze.
Phil froze. He didn't
Yeah,
pay the
Phil's frozen.
fine.
Oh, he froze in the worst way, didn't he there? Look at that. That looks like a fucking idiot.
Oh my god. Yeah. It's like he
Steak.
got
It's
the bad
what's for
news and he
dinner.
just froze.
Oh, well.
It's not his night because of the impeachment.
Yeah.
Nope.
It probably isn't.
Yeah. Tony.
He probably had a nightmare.
Look at that. He just had a
Pelosi's
heart
happy,
attack
he's
from the
mad.
impeachment. Yeah. Well, now
He's in
it's.
shock. He's in shock.
Need to impeach. Oh, there we go. There
This
we
is
go.
the shirt I got from Tom Steyer last June at the Pride at the San Francisco Pride.
Yeah.
We have a whole bunch of a contingent marching
Yeah.
I should get that for my niece.
for impeachment.
Well, he is now the 3rd president in history to be impeached.
Yeah.
Nixon doesn't count because Nixon never got impeached. They never got to the vote. He
Right.
resigned before
Yeah,
the vote.
they had just passed the articles, and it didn't get to the full House yet.
And the Republicans said to Nixon, resign.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
You better resign. You don't want to face impeachment. Because he probably would have been found guilty in the Senate. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he resigned.
Yeah.
He just resigned. But in the
But,
case.
But he became impeached.
Yeah.
He never went to the Senate. That's the difference.
Yeah.
The House,
Yeah.
they did this.
Yeah. So anyway, so everybody, in case you're watching us, everybody's a little out of sync, but it doesn't matter. Except for Phil, he's not out of sync at all. He's just frozen.
He's called
And what is that? That should be his publicity picture. You know, it kind of looks like, hey, hi, how are you? Yeah. No, now I don't know how this is going to turn out for the Democrats. I mean, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. What do you think, Charlie? You're always good on this.
Well, I think it could turn out great for the Democrats if they would just step up and do it. They're just waffling so much on this impeachment, and they left out the worst charges.
Yeah.
So they're trying to blow it.
I don't agree.
What'd you say? Who said
I
that?
said I don't agree. I think they're doing exactly what they need to do, and the fact is that certainly they're taking a risk, but at the same time, if they didn't do it, it would probably have been worse for them.
Yeah.
So I would just say they just did what they needed to do and put the country first before the party. Unfortunately, the Republicans didn't. So, so that's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, I think they did the only thing they could do. I mean, you can't let something like this just go undone. because it sends a message to every future president that you can get away with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In other words, if you don't do it, you create a new norm. I know Phil would disagree, but is he frozen now, or is he just
No,
oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking about the kangaroo court that you guys are so happy about. That
wasn't a
is in
kangaroo
the
You can call it a kangaroo court, doesn't make it one.
yeah, it is a kangaroo
Call it
court.
anything you
Court's in
want.
the Republican Senate. How's that a kangaroo court?
Yeah. Hey, Tom. So you took some of Tom Steyer's billionaire money, and you're wearing it?
Sure.
No,
No, actually, I made a donation. I actually made a donation to the Need to Impeach organization. But yeah, I took his T-shirt.
All right.
I wish I'll tell you the truth. It was right after that he announced he was running for president. I wish if I had known he was going to consider running for president, I would have told him right then, don't do it. Don't do it. Stay with what you're doing with the impeachment, work for the Senate candidates, but don't run for president. In fact, I was actually going to thank him for not running for president. But I wrote him and said, man, you're making a big mistake.
Where is he in the polls?
Oh, around 4 or 5%.
Really, that high?
Yeah. Well, he's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kathleen. Happy birthday, Alex.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let me see here. I'm trying to get myself in the picture here. Hold on a second. It's a bit of a problem here. Brianna.
Well, you're the only one I have in Skype.
Yeah.
Everybody else is up in the circles.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Am I there? Wait a minute. Oh no, hold on a second. I know what I got to do. Hold on, folks. You see, I mean, somehow the other night something went really wrong here. There we go. There we are. Okay. All right. Now we're there. Hi, Kevin. Everybody's there. I'm there too. Okay. So anyway, when you call it a kangaroo court, Phil, you're simply parroting what Trump says.
I've been calling it a kangaroo court since the very beginning.
It's not a kangaroo court. They had every opportunity to present their witnesses. They had every opportunity to present their people, and they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. They didn't.
They said they didn't.
Well, they said
you know more than the congressman that got got hoodwinked.
No, they said they didn't, but they were more than they had ample opportunity to have people infused into that discussion. Yes.
Well, we'll see what happens in the Senate.
Well, no,
you got to convict him in the Senate. You may accuse him in the Congress, but you got to convict him in the Senate.
No. The fact is that they're not going to convict him in the Senate because your Republicans are marching in lockstep.
Oh, because they see the truth. You know, the rest of you guys are so.
I got to tell you, how many?
They won't look at the evidence.
What evidence? The evidence says he said us. I heard so many Congress people saying he says, do me a favor. He didn't say that.
Do you notice?
The transcript said, do us
Tom
a favor.
has his hand up.
All right.
Okay. First of all, us probably meant his campaign and his friend Rudy Giuliani. Second thing, I just remembered, I just got home, so my brain is still getting together. But I just remembered, I hope you don't mind me mentioning Michelangelo Signorelli because I was listening to the
I heard him say, did you hear what he said?
They found a tape of an interview with Trump and Wolf Blitzer. And I guess this was right after Nancy Pelosi became Speaker the first time. And Trump, first of all, he says how much he likes Nancy Pelosi. He liked her so much. And then he said that he was really disappointed with her that she didn't impeach Bush because he deserved to get impeached for lying. And then he said that the impeachment against Clinton was totally bogus. So you'll be hearing that.
Maybe he was right.
Okay, so that means if we can impeach somebody for lying, then
no.
Go for it.
Okay,
perjury,
Phil.
Perjury
Somebody
is a crime.
has his hand up, Phil. Somebody has his hand up. Somebody has his hand up, Phil.
He was saying it wasn't Bush that was testifying under oath. I mean, it wasn't Clinton. He was talking about Bush. he was saying that Bush should have been impeached for lying.
Well,
Phil, somebody has his hand up.
Can I answer the man?
No, you can't because somebody has his hand up.
Oh, I got my hands up. You just couldn't see them.
Oh, I see. Because you had your hand underneath the table jerking off
here,
to
they're right
Trump.
here.
Yes,
Exactly.
Charlie.
He's
Charlie.
like Michael Danchowski in my second grade class. He
Charlie.
never replied.
Will you let Charlie talk, please? Yes, Charlie.
I just want to point out that the trial is supposed to be in the Senate, and the Senate is supposed to be the jury and is supposed to rule on the articles of impeachment. Both Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell have said they don't care what they say. They're not going to listen to any testimony. They've already made up their minds. In fact, McConnell says he is going to work with the president, with the White House throughout this whole procedure. Now, what would you say in a trial if the foreman of the jury announced that he was going to work with the defendant and the defense attorney during the whole course of that trial?
I think there's a word for that, Charlie. Kangaroo court. Wait a minute. There's a word for that, Charlie. Kangaroo court.
Yeah, and I would say that he sees the injustice that has been inflicted on Trump.
Oh,
and
poor
so
man.
he's not going to let it continue.
Wah, wah, wah. What did you used to say, Kathleen? Wah, wah, wah.
You said, Bennett, that, with Clinton, he was impeached for lying. He was impeached for perjury. You don't have any high crime or misdemeanor to impeach Trump, except for the fact that for the last 2.5 years, the Democrats have wanted to find anything they could use to signal this impeachment. And so they're using whatever they can, and it's weak. It's very weak. It's beyond weak. So, if you want to bury your head in the sand and watch this injustice, you go right ahead. At least the people in the Senate will correct it. His head is in the sand. He's going to come up with sand on his face.
Yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. Yeah, that's what I was doing. That was the little mime thing, a little theater there for you. Okay.
Yeah, little sand on your face.
Yeah. How come Phil's in sync? That's what I don't understand.
You don't want to hear me sing.
No, I just, I think, Phil, that among other things, you don't understand that it wasn't a kangaroo court. It was the process they go through. He had every opportunity to send his representatives to speak. He had the ability, if he wanted to speak himself, but he didn't. So the fact that he didn't do any of those things kind of releases him the responsibility of them to listen to everything because they're not being allowed to. He in fact told people not to show up in violation of Congress. I mean, he actually I think is one of the things they're yelling about is that he. Well, let me finish, Phil. That he obstructed justice by not allowing people to speak and saying they couldn't. Yes, Kevin, you look like you want to say something. It was
obstruction of Congress, not obstruction of justice.
Phil, Kevin,
get it right.
Do you want to say something, Kevin?
No, go ahead. I was just adjusting.
Oh, okay. Right.
We lost Tony. We lost Jeff.
Yeah, what happened to Jeff? What happened to Tony? They've been kidnapped, my God.
Oh, there's Jeff. He's safe.
Jeff is back. He's safe. Okay, good.
Where's Tony?
Where's Tony? He's probably smothering his mother right now.
No.
She grabbed him by the ankles and yanked him over.
Yeah. No, he's probably having to wipe her ass or something. I don't know. Whatever he does. But, I just, I don't, of course he's not going to get convicted in the Senate. I think you might have one or two senators that might bolt, but I doubt it. Although Romney might,
I don't think so.
Yeah, they showed one Republican voted yes today.
No, that was an independent.
No, they showed a Republican.
They really did, huh?
Probably Romney, maybe. No, he's the senator. That's right.
Right.
The guy from
Yeah, because my wife saw it and I went, no, that's probably an independent. And I looked at it and it said a Republican
Well,
was
you see-
under the Republican column.
was that the guy from Florida?
Maybe,
Here's what's
Yeah.
going to happen in the Senate. See, what should happen in the Senate is they should hold a trial. And what's going to happen is the Republicans in the Senate are going to stonewall against that and just find him innocent without anybody testifying or anything. Okay? So, of course, he's going to win in the Senate because the fix is in. They're not going to listen and then listen to the evidence and then vote based on the evidence. So, there you go. I've made my case. Is Phil
He's
Froden-
already bribed senators.
I'm trying to look up what the vote was, but
yeah, it could have been a mistake when I looked at it, but I saw it under the column. Maybe it was corrected. I don't know.
Could be.
It wasn't finished yet.
Could be under party lines, whatever. God,
Yeah, it was all
I just
down
want
the
to say
line.
that 22 Republicans in the Senate are up for re-election. All they have to do is vote to let Trump get off for this, and I think every one of them will be kicked out of office.
let's
They
see what
obviously didn't do their job.
let's see what Kathleen's son thinks.
He goes and hides.
He's like a cat. You know?
He is. He's worse than a cat.
Every senator has to take an oath that they will be an impartial judge during this proceeding, and Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham already said they won't be.
Yeah.
You know
They're
what? My
gonna
son's
lie.
just like the Republicans after the impeachment. They're all going to hide.
Oh, everybody's in sync now. I don't know why, but everybody's in
All
sync.
right.
That
I
worked.
got the thing here. Article 1, abuse of power. Republicans, 2 Republicans didn't vote, but the votes were no 197 to 195, yes 230 to 220. No, 230 was the total. 229 to 0. 1 independent voted yes. So 0 Republicans on the first article. On the second article, obstruction of Congress, it was 228 Dem, 0 Republicans voting yes, 1 independent voted yes.
That's about.
There was not voting.
Blah blah boo.
Yeah, well, it was 0 Republicans defected.
Yeah.
Well, you said that there were a couple that did not vote at all.
Yeah, as well as Dems. From what
Yeah,
I
there was
saw
a
on
bunch of
TV,
no
it
votes,
said
yeah.
it was 42 that didn't vote. But what I'm seeing here on NewYorkTimes.com is not voting was 3 in total for the first thing, and 4 in total, 3 in total for the obstruction. So maybe it changed from the 42 that I'd seen.
For some of the Dems who didn't vote, one of the reasons why is they're probably in essentially Republican districts.
Well, Tulsi Gabbard, and Hawaii is not a Republican district.
No,
Tulsi Gabbard voted present.
She is she's not a Republican or a Democrat. She's a Russian.
There's a
Yeah,
Democrat.
she was a Russian.
According to Hillary.
Yeah.
I mean,
Some of those Russian babes are
hasn't
really
Tulsi Gabbard been against impeachment all along?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
No, she's been quiet.
Oh, okay.
Well, she voted present.
Yeah.
Maybe she's mail order.
I hope so. I'll put some stamps on that.
She's mail order.
Mail order politician.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or mail order bride, he was thinking.
What do you
Russian.
think? What do you think, Kevin? What are your thoughts on it? Of course, you're for the impeachment, right?
Yeah, but it's almost. I watched a bunch of it today. I was watching it and then I'd not watch it. And it was the same old shit. Obviously, it was interesting. The constant back and forth was the same old shit.
Yeah.
We knew how it was going to go.
Yeah.
And I just, it's going to go to the Senate. We know how it's going to go. And what's going to happen then? We know how everything's going to go up until the end of the Senate.
Yeah.
And then I want to know what happens after that.
There are going to be no surprises, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Is it going to, We know what happened with Nixon. He finally gave up and said, "Fuck it, I'm leaving."
Yeah.
But I don't think Trump will do that. I think
that's-
Trump is gonna hang in there and say, "Fuck it, I'm staying. I'm gonna piss you all off."
And he's going to win a second term.
I don't listen.
I
There's
don't-
there's every possibility
I don't
that he
think so.
will, Phil, because I don't think the Democrats have come up with anybody who can beat him. Okay.
Can I say one?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. Please do talk. Go ahead.
I was
talk,
thinking
talk,
about this
talk.
really
Just what you-
logically. Ready?
Well, okay.
And
Okay.
I know Phil likes Trump, but I think something's going to happen before the election. I think he's going to have to step down, and it's going to be reminiscent of Nixon. I think somebody close to they're going to pinch somebody close to Trump, and they're going to flip him.
Yeah.
And that's going to force
You
him
could
to
be
step
right.
down.
There could be something laying in wait.
And then
Why
Trump
are they
is
being
gonna
so
resign.
aggressive? Why are they being so
nobody
aggressive
can
with
take
this
the
thing?
stand. Nobody can do anything. Everybody around him he's going to come out, and I think when Trump steps away, it's going to be more of an illness. I can't run because I'm not healthy. He's going to do something where he's going to take
I know what he
himself
can
out.
say.
It's not his fault.
I
yeah.
got.
Yeah,
he
he's
can
gonna
say
play the fall guy, like,
prostate
somehow.
cancer. That's what he can say.
Oh, he
Prostate
can't
cancer.
take your stuff.
He
I just have a
can't-
feeling
oh,
it's
shut
2 or
up.
3 months. Oh, you imagine he takes you at the doctor says you got to wait out because we got Trump. Oh, come on. Let me come to these. I really feel there's a bigger story here because I think it's not Trump.
I know
They're
it.
gonna
I know
get
what he's going to
somebody
say. I know what he's
around
going to
him.
say. I got it. He's going to say,
Yeah.
I can't run. I can't run for another term. I'm going to have to step down. My bone spurs are killing me.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
it. You can always fall back. I got out of Vietnam. Yeah,
Coming back. Yeah.
Coming back.
I think it's a guy around. We may never know the true story, but he's gonna leave. I think.
You know something? There's a possibility that what you're saying could happen.
Yeah.
I just think that it's sad that there's nobody that can go up against him.
Well, yeah, that's a different story.
Okay,
yeah.
that there's nobody that can capture the imagination of the American public or be the alternative to Trump to a lot of people who have to hold their nose when they vote for him.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like who do we have? Nobody we have.
What do you think,
said.
Tom?
That's
Do you
sad.
think I make sense at all?
Yeah.
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 Because you don't want to
need
vote
somebody
just to vote for the person to go against him. You want to vote with some conviction. Like I kind of
Yeah.
believe what he's saying.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there is a core group of morons and people who are missing front teeth who will vote
That
for
was me.
Donald Trump. Who will vote?
But then straight down.
who will vote for Donald Trump?
I wouldn't
You
vote
know,
for him,
come hell or high water. I mean, in spite of the fact the man's a fucking crook, he's immoral. You know, if you're a good Christian, he doesn't have any Christian ethics, and yet. If the Democrats have to put somebody up that people don't have to hold their noses and vote for.
He's your typical person that will jump into a boiling pot of shit and come out smelling like a rose no matter what happens.
I mean,
Well, because he uses the old Cohen strategy, which is never admit that you've done something
Exactly.
wrong.
that's what he did.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know
Never.
P.T. Barnum was right.
what?
P.T. Barnum.
The
P.T. Barnum?
P.T. Barnum was right.
Is a sucker born every minute? Yeah.
Wasn't it
Yeah,
Clinton?
that's
Bill
how
Clinton?
Trump gets away with it.
Wasn't it Bill Clinton that said deny, stall, something like that?
No,
You know?
no. that was Roy Cohn.
I thought it was Bill Clinton.
Well, you know, there's an old saying: you can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all the people all the time. But if you can do it once every 4 years, you can get elected. You know,
Yeah.
Would be good.
and that's what happened here. I mean, I think it's sad. I think that America's lost its way, just lost its way. And it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be dead in a few years, and everybody else. Well, no, but I'm going to be dead in a few years, whether I live to be 100 or not. You know, I mean, I'm still at the part of my life where there are less years than there are future years, and it shouldn't really even matter to me. I should just go, oh, fuck it. You know, it's your problem. But I can't. I just can't, because I believe in the America I was taught existed, in its goodness and in its And I am completely bothered that this is even going on.
Well, the whole thing is that he could be doing good, but not be such an asshole about it and not be doing all the other shit that he's doing and still be doing good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he could be, doing all the shit that he wants to be doing and setting this country in the right direction, but he's fucking with so much shit that he's the whole country's in a stir.
Yeah.
And you know what was crazy today? I was watching some of this, and Tom may know about it. One of the Republicans compared him to Jesus, and the Democrats is
yes,
Pontius Pilate.
I heard that in the background.
It was like fucking bizarre. It's like,
what was that all about, Tom? I heard that in the background.
Going full bore.
Crazy.
While I was doing other stuff, I heard that in the background. What was that all about? It was like,
I was like, what's next? I mean, really, he's gonna. Alex, did you ever hear something so fucking bizarre in all your life that he would even say that?
Yeah.
I was like, what's his name? You know what? Give me your credentials. You're out of the fucking job. I mean, this is fucking stupid.
Well,
really.
I mean, evoking Jesus as him being like Jesus.
I did a double take. I was making soup. I was like, I couldn't just hear that.
Yeah.
So
And
maybe
I
you should have
like-
said he was like the Beatles.
Oh, come on, Phil. It's off the fucking wall.
Beatles
Would you
would.
hire a guy, Phil, who talked like that?
Of course.
Probably fucking put him in a straitjacket. Come on.
Jesus was a socialist.
Jesus was a socialist. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they would have crucified him. You know what they should have told him? You would have crucified him anyway. He wanted to give free health care.
Let me ask Kathleen something. You've got a son there, right?
Yes.
Well, you have one who disappears the minute you turn a camera on him.
Right.
Is he out? Is he standing around?
He's like Rudy. We can't get him.
Yeah. Nope. It's like a cockroach. You turn the lights on and he goes scattering.
Well, they stop running.
Yeah.
Just stay. They won't kill me.
But anyway, you have a kid, right? He's going to have to live with what happens with all of this.
Yep.
Now, maybe you don't care much about it now because
No, listen, there's not a day that I go by that I don't think about all this shit because, well, my son, because he's on the spectrum with autism, he doesn't talk a lot at school, but he's extremely intelligent. So because he only has like 2 or 3 friends, I got him involved in the youth group at the church. And then I started Bible study, and I'm sure these people were like, oh my God, get this broad out of here, because I'm the one with all the questions. Because over the summer, I read Roman history, I read Flavius Josephus, so I read the Jewish antiquities, the Jewish wars. Then I'm like, I tell my son, his name wasn't Jesus, it was Yeshua, which if you translate it, it's Joshua. And like Christmas, last year he was asking me all these questions about Christmas, and I said, you know what, dude, it's just a bunch of bullshit. It's a lie.
Gee, I thought Joshua Christ was his brother.
Tell that to Hallmark.
I believe it.
No, I mean, and the Jews killed Jesus. No, they didn't. The Romans did. So when it comes to politics and all this stuff, I'm very much.
Hey, wait a minute. Jesus wasn't killed by the Jews. He was killed by the Romans. I've been assuming all my life that we killed Jesus, and now you tell me we didn't.
Liar.
Boy, am I disappointed.
He needed a good lawyer to get off. That's what it's like. We weren't there. They own everything here. How are we doing anything?
Yeah,
I mean, but when it comes to these Christians, I have a lot of issues with them. They're very ignorant, and they're so stuck on this man-made book. So when it comes to politics and stuff, oh my God. Once lobbying and money gets into it, it's.
But you know the reason why Christ died on the cross. He couldn't afford the retainer.
Thank you. But I'm pumped.
So that's my joke for this year.
That there's a whole different level, and I'm not going to go into it. I'm very much a realist.
Yeah. But
In a way, I feel bad for the next generation forward.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this though, but your son is growing up into this world which is going to be at some point post-Trump.
Yeah.
Okay. And if it goes too long, I think the world's going to be a bit fucked up. How do you feel about him growing up in that world?
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Does he have an opinion on the matter, or does he just go hide under the couch?
What did you say? He said something to effect of the, as you were talking, he said fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
He totally agrees.
So, by the way, he said he was autistic, but he's on the cusp or something. What's that term they use?
He's, he's like my nephew. So when it comes to, he has a hard time dealing with kids his age, but he totally connects with adults.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. Most of the kids nowadays play video games. They have cell phones. They're into all this technology crap. But my son doesn't have a cell phone. He knows everything there is about movies. He loves old shows. I mean, he's growing up, the way I did with, just a little bit.
How is that autistic?
How's that autistic?
It's probably the fact that he can't relate to the kids around him.
Okay.
Fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him.
Exactly. That's what I tell him. I said, listen, if they want to play video games and they want to be stuck in their own technology, just let it go.
But he is capable of being sociable with, say, adults, for instance, you say.
Oh, totally.
Okay, so
he relates better with adults than he does with.
Don't let those assholes pigeonhole him into saying that he's autistic. He's not autistic. He's advanced.
Well, that's what I tell them. I said, don't ever use that as an excuse.
Well, you know what happens today with kids. I was talking to about it? I think it was maybe Ronnie when I was interviewing her that we just say that there are certain things wrong with kids that we never said were wrong with kids before. Somewhere along the line, we decided that kids were autistic, or we decided that they were this or that, and this is the way we're going to solve it.
You were talking about that the mothers used to just yell, "Hey, Jimmy, come on home. It's time to eat," rather than
be home before,
you can't go out.
Be home before the sun goes down, or dinner's at 6. Be sure you're home by then.
Yep.
And meantime, and I mentioned to Ronnie, did you ever have a play date when you were a kid?
No, I didn't even.
You showed up at Billy's house
you went to Billy's house, knocked on his door, and he opened it, and you had your play date.
Phil's here. Come on in. You know.
Well, they just
usually
yell.
Sometimes they used to say, "Phil's here." Oh God, I locked the door.
Yeah.
Phil's here. Everybody turn the lights off. We're not home.
But you get what I'm saying. I mean, the fact of the matter is that I think we make life rough for kids by putting these labels on them.
Yep.
That is a good point.
He may be going through something right now that he's going to totally grow out of. I mean, when he's suddenly an adult and in an adult world, he may function perfectly.
Well, what happened is with him, once he hit 3rd grade, we knew there was an issue, and what they had to do was they had to slow down the curriculum. Once they slowed down the curriculum, then he picked it up. Tony and I were talking earlier, and Tony was telling me how he was bored in school.
Yeah,
and I said, well, you're exactly.
I used to do my work and I just sit around and just
listen, you know what happened with me? You know what happened with me when I was a kid? They decided when I went to high school that somehow I was, I don't know, slow. All right?
Yeah.
So they put me, when I went into high school, they put me in a, what do you call, one of those?
Remedial.
Yeah, remedial.
They put me in a bunch of remedial classes.
Future prison.
And I suddenly said, boy, I love this high school because I was getting straight A's.
Yeah, it's super easy.
And all of a sudden they woke up and said, I guess he ain't retarded. And they put me back in the other classes and I was all C's. You know,
With
and I went,
my
fuck you, I
son-
want to get back to the retarded classes.
C's get degrees.
Yes, with Sean, if it doesn't interest him, he wants nothing to do with
Listen,
it.
there is,
But
I
if
will,
it
if your son
interests
is
him-
listening to me, I'm going to say, Sean, there is nothing more boring than high school or grade school. Okay?
I was bored stiff.
I
Why
was
is
bored.
elementary school?
I
I
was
should
bored
join
to
that.
tears. But you got to get through it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the only thing. You got to get through it.
I
But-
did you all a really good thing because I was the part of the class that made the top half possible.
Yes,
the bottom half.
exactly.
I would have made Philophone.
There'd be no curve if it wasn't for me.
I was the kid who all the teachers said to my parents, he'd really do well if he'd apply himself.
Yeah.
You know, and what they did in those days when they taught you is they gave you material, and then you memorized it, and then you spewed it back to
Yeah.
them. And if you spewed it back to them correctly, if you're like a computer, if they programmed you and you were programmed perfectly, you got A's.
Don't ask why
Yeah,
something is because they don't know.
Yeah,
and they don't want to tell you.
Yeah, I never. Oh well, I did that on several occasions and got in trouble for saying why.
Yeah, yeah.
You
why-
know.
Well, you know
why
what
is
they used
that?
to make us do in math? And I did this on purpose one time. I forgot. It might have been algebra.
Yeah.
They used to say save your scrap sheet so we could see how you got to the answer. I used to throw it out.
You know what?
Fuck it, here's my answer. I didn't.
I
cheat.
got to the answer by looking at the
So they-
kid next
they
to
make
me.
I
you
used
take
to
it
say,
Yeah.
for a short
Did it on
time, I
spite.
taught a
That's
class here in New York at, I can't remember, like the New School or something like that. And I said, no one in this class is going to ever get in trouble for asking the right question. You know, and I'm not
right
going to dun you.
question?
I'm not going to dun you for giving the wrong answer. But I'm going to give you credits for asking the right question. That the real thing to be able to do is to ask the right question. You know, and by doing so, you're going to learn stuff that way. Would you agree with me or disagree with me, Tom? You're kind of looking at me like I'm a carp.
Oh, I think you ask the questions that you want.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then Jeff, we'll go to Jeff in a
no,
second.
I guess the high school can be a real frustrating situation when you don't know what you're going to do with your life.
Mhm.
There were some subjects I really enjoyed,
Yeah,
and others I didn't do so well in. So.
Yeah. Well, what I did is I told people in this class that I was teaching, your next assignment is to write a test and ask questions. Don't give them. And
Yeah, I've done that too.
Yeah,
I've had teachers that have done that.
Yeah.
I think that's actually good. That's an actually good exercise.
I think people being questioning about things. You know, yeah. Jeff had his hand up. Yes, Jeff.
Yeah, I think the biggest part about high school and things like that
Mm-hmm.
is to learn a lot of things, but to learn a lot about yourself. And the biggest thing to learn is how to think and how to make critical decisions.
That's right. Critical thinking. Yeah.
I
And
tell my son straight up, the only reason I went to high school, and it was two reasons,
Meat
was
boys.
to play sports. And number two, if I didn't graduate, boy, was grandma gonna kick my ass.
I went to school for two reasons: not to play sports and to get laid. And I had to play sports, and I never got laid. So it was a terrible time in high school. Yes, we'll talk. Tell your son later on. We'll explain getting laid.
Charlie's got his fingers.
Boy, what he must be thinking listening to this show. And then watching his mother reveal herself, not only in her sports bra, but in every other way too. Yes, Charlie.
Yeah, I went to high school because I knew I was going to go to college. I knew I was going to be a scientist, and you couldn't be a scientist without graduating from high school and college.
Right. So
I loved high school.
you loved high school. Good for you.
Yeah.
You're the guy that ruined it for the rest of us. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
I played
Yeah.
sports
You-
and I was in the drama club.
Miss Jones, do you remember you gave us homework? Were you the one that said that?
I did more than what she gave. I would always do extra credit.
Really?
I was
Kiss
that
ass.
guy.
Well, the weird thing was in college, I was honor roll and I was also playing basketball.
Yeah.
I was Kaiser.
Well,
roll.
and in
I-
comedy,
No,
at
that's
comedy
wrong.
clubs, sometimes I was on a roll. So this is
The Kaiser roll.
God. I'm just
roll.
killing tonight. Isn't it how great, how funny somebody can be when they have cancer? Isn't this great?
Yeah, actually, Perky, really, you're right. Ever since the touch of the cancer.
Well,
he's
yeah,
right.
I have.
It's like the Larry David thing with
Yeah, oh, I
Julia.
love Larry David.
That
He is
was
Larry David.
hilarious.
He is Larry David.
Yeah.
Larry,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so Tony, you didn't like school, right, Tony?
I got bored easy, but I used to make phony report cards for the stupid kids. I used to sell them $20 each.
You missed the
I
spelling
made them on my
classes,
Commodore
though.
64. I never forget one kid. I never forget this kid. He came to me. He would tell me the grades he wanted. He says, say biology, I want an 85. I says, listen, your father's never going to believe you got an 85.
Yeah.
We got to do something reasonable here. So, how many absences you want? So I used to always go over. So, and one time that Monday, I gave it to him. He came to me the next week and said, what happened? Everything's good, right? Oh, my God. He says, my father loved it, he said. I said, you have to understand. I can't print up diplomas, I said. Because sooner or later, you got to graduate.
Yeah.
Because I saw his original report card. He had to stay extra.
And I'm sure Jeff liked high school, right, Jeff?
I used to buy records with the money.
I had two parts of it. It was that I hated it and I loved it. It was that crazy combination. I went to a school in called Brooklyn Tech,
Mm-hmm.
which all guys and everybody was very, very smart.
Yeah.
Incredibly smart, and a lot of them were real nerds too.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people, who were in sports or whatever, but they were very serious. Like they all wanted to get A's and
Oh, wow. So that was competitive then.
Columbia or whatever, And I wasn't that interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was more interested in maybe some of the learning parts, and some of the other ones I couldn't give a damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I went to junior college in San Francisco, and I was already working at a radio station, but I took broadcasting there because they actually had a broadcasting curriculum at this junior college. That, and it was also a their major thing for going to that school is if you wanted to be in restaurants, work in restaurants.
Yeah, they had a big San Francisco City College.
Yeah,
had a big restaurant
Right.
training program.
Right, and so I went and I took broadcasting, but I was working in radio already, and I was learning more by working it than by studying it. And consequently, I finally just said to hell with it. My career was going fine in radio, and what do I need this for? And I got out of college, so I never even really finished much of college, And I never saw what I felt that working for 2 weeks in a real radio station under the pressure of doing a radio show taught me more than it ever would have if I just,
Did you get extra credit for the time you were doing in the radio show? You could have graduated just saying, "Hey, I'm doing this in real life. Maybe give me the extra credit."
No, in fact, I had a guy. His name was Henry Leff, who, if you ever saw the movie Take the Money and Run with Woody Allen, there's somebody playing his father who wears a fake nose, one of these nose and glasses, who doesn't want to admit he's his father when he's being interviewed. That's Henry Leff. And he was my teacher. And he told my mother, your son's never going to make it in the broadcasting business.
He said that?
Yeah. And when I went back to San Francisco, and I became very popular in San Francisco radio, I think I actually went on the air one day and talked about this and said, Henry Leff at San Francisco City College said I would never make it. Well, what do you think now, pal? You know?
Well, I majored in law enforcement and I didn't become a cop.
Yeah. Yes, Jeff.
You're muted, Jeff.
You're muted, Jeff.
I'm sorry, I'm on.
Yeah.
I think that Henry was your motivator. When he said you couldn't do it,
I think so.
You said, screw him, I'm going to do it.
I think there's a good chance of that. You know, that was a motivating factor for me. But I didn't have many people say no to me in the business as the years went on. You know,
they just fired you.
They just fired me. That's right. They just fired me.
You got hired?
I didn't get.
He was a good interviewer.
I didn't get fired. I didn't get fired that much. Be honest with you. It was only until the later years when I really was doing well in the business that I would get fired because I was in the line of fire. Yeah. You know, up until that time, I was just getting jobs. They would literally fall into my lap. You know,
under the radar.
Yeah. So, whatever. So anyway, we're coming up on the Christmas season, a time when Jews feel very uncomfortable. And
Jews made up that holiday. You know why?
Why?
They needed Christians so they'd have somebody to sell to retail.
Not a bad idea.
Okay.
Somebody's got to pay retail.
They did Kwanzaa now for the.
Yeah.
Oh my God! When did Kwanzaa come out?
Kwanzaa
They
was
found out 65.
Yeah.
65. I thought it was 1990.
It was invented by a professor. Where was the professor?
I never heard of it until the 90s.
Was he in Texas?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
No, Southern California.
Oh, Southern California.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I always felt if I don't know. How do you feel about Kwanzaa, black person Charlie?
Like I said, I'd never heard about it until the 90s. So
Yeah.
I have no feeling at all.
Yeah, I mean, do you celebrate Kwanzaa?
No, I don't even celebrate Christmas anymore.
Do you build?
I'm having a 50 off Kwanzaa sale right now.
Well,
You can't afford not to buy this.
you
floor
have
covering.
no idea what Kwanzaa's about, Phil. Kwanzaa is about building a structure called a Kwanzaa hut.
Oh, really?
And
Well, we'll carpet that Kwanzaa hut for 50% off.
Really?
and you build a
Sean,
Kwanzaa
do you
hut.
want the
That's
Lego
just wrong.
Kwanzaa set?
Brothers! Brother!
Little Lego Kwanzaa
Little
set.
Kwanzaa and a manger.
You know, to this day, you fucking make me laugh, Halstead. Yes,
Thank you.
yes, Tom.
I think we should celebrate Festivus.
Yes,
Yeah.
for the rest of us.
Yeah.
You want to
That
celebrate?
works.
Yeah,
Hmm?
he just bolted back there.
What?
Yeah, but he hasn't done that in a long time with me.
Your
Who?
mic's live, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin's talking to somebody on the phone?
No, my wife, but my cat just bolted behind the screen for some damn reason.
Real? And will soon probably put you off the air.
Yeah, I don't know. He used to do that when he was a kitten,
When
and
he-
he'd go back there because it was warm, I guess. And now he's about 18 pounds, and he decides he wants to be a kitten again.
I don't know what it is with cats and wires, okay? But
Yeah.
when we were
I like to chew 'em.
when we were babysitting, what's her name, Berta, she would come into the studio. She was dying to come in the studio, so she would spend an hour if it took it to open this door, okay? But she finally get the door open, and she would come in, and she would start over at the other end of the studio, go behind the monitors, and walk over every wire and piece of equipment that was here.
Yeah.
And I could never figure out why. It never made sense. What's back
Wanted
there?
to chew them.
No, she wasn't chewing them. She was just walking over them. She just wanted to know that she could go somewhere and I couldn't stop her. And I'm doing the show here and I'm going, oh my God,
Yeah.
she's going to, something's going to get unplugged. But no,
Yeah.
she gingerly walked over everything and then she came to the other side and jumped down,
I'm not a cat lover, but there was this thing on YouTube today where there was two cats, and each cat would ring the bell, and they would get a bit of food,
Yep.
kind of like the Pavlov thing. I watched that for probably 5 minutes, just over and over, oh, that's pretty interesting. Ring the bell, give the cat food. It was just like Pavlov.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Catherine?
Oh, yeah. I saw it last year.
Yeah. Okay.
The year before and the year before.
Yeah. Yes,
Cat video.
Jeff.
Yeah, if I could just talk again about college and high school and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
My granddaughter is now in a senior in high school, and she's trying to get into college.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, is that one hell of a stress process that they have to go through now. And particularly because she's into art and theater and to be in shows and stuff like that. And she's been doing that for months, for years, I should say. But the strange part is that they would often have to interview several hundred kids, auditions, and only 3 of them would get the job.
Wow.
That's the way it is, yeah.
That's like total frustration,
If I could do high school over again, I would have gone to the debate club. I would have participated in that. I really wish I did. You look back and you say, well, what things could I have done that I didn't do? And that would definitely be one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I never was in the debate club or anything like that. I was in the broadcasting club in high school, and then the teacher impeached me as president because she didn't like a radio show I did on the local radio station, and I was literally thrown out. So the whole entire broadcasting club quit.
Really? What was the topic that she didn't like?
It wasn't a question of a topic. It was a show we did. I can't remember. We had 15 minutes. There was a show called The Big Four, and it was a show in which we had 4 high schools all around Marin. Okay, and each school had 15 minutes, and we had our 15 minutes. And one week I did a show. I can't even remember what it was about, but it was a little on the goofy side or whatever. And she said, "I didn't like that. And you're out as president of the broadcasting club." And so I walked out, and so did everybody else in the broadcasting club. They had no broadcast the next weekend. So then my parents were dragged to school by the principal of the school saying, "Your son has started an insurrection here at Drake High School."
Troublemaker.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history. I've been a troublemaker ever since, So.
My brother Michael majored in broadcast communications, and he ended up at ILM.
Yep. And he's still there to this very day. He's been there how many years? God, he's been there 20 years or something like that.
He got hired right after they finished Jurassic Park.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And to this day, he works there.
Yes.
Yes. And he's currently doing the Mandalorian, you say?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what's his job exactly? What's his title?
I don't know, probably CGI supervisor, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool, isn't it?
But, when we were visiting my mom, we stayed at his place, and so he has a Victorian, and then he has an illegal in-law unit, which he calls his man cave. So we go into it, and I swear I thought my son was going to have a grand mal seizure because there's so much movie memorabilia. My son was just wide-eyed walking around like, "Oh my God, Mom, look at all this." It's a really cool place.
Yeah.
Let alone he must have over, I don't know, 5,000 to 6,000 albums, maybe over 10,000 CDs. Just a huge collection of, and then, so there's the living room and there's a big futon couch that.
So what you're trying to tell me is he worked for ILM for 20 years and doesn't have a penny to show for it.
Oh, no, he has a whole lot of shit to show for it. I mean, and then, you go into the kitchen, there's all this beer making equipment. And then in the dining room, it's basically a music studio.
Did he ever get married?
Yeah, he's married and his daughter is 15.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
So we'll say hello for me. I liked him.
I
He's a
will.
good guy. Good guy. Yeah. And so he still works for ILM's still owned by Lucas, right? He kept that part of the company.
Yes.
It was just the Lucasfilm he got rid of.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. And they go to ILM to get all the special effects done for The Mandalorian, which is a
Yes.
beautiful looking show. If nobody's
Right,
seen
yeah,
this
right.
program,
Yes.
on top of everything else, the Baby Yoda is so
I
cute.
know. I want to buy
I
the
know
Funko
the
that says
frickin'
Baby
thing.
Do you
Yoda.
know? Do you know that toy? See, they didn't come out with the toy, and the reason they didn't was they didn't want to show their hand by putting into production the Baby Yoda, because they didn't want anybody to know the Baby Yoda was on the show till the show premiered. And once it premiered, every kid, including this one in America,
I wanted. Yeah.
wanted a
You can
Baby
pre-order it now on
Yoda,
Amazon for
and they
$10.
and they didn't have any. So what they're
I'm gonna get
doing this
the Funko.
Christmas is you can buy the Baby Yoda. Are you ready for this? Well, not exactly. You can buy a certificate saying you bought the Baby Yoda, and when it comes out in May, you can pick up your Baby Yoda. So,
Yeah, May 15th, I gotta wait.
well, that's
Well,
what.
my son and I can get one probably now.
Well, you could probably get the real Baby Yoda.
Yes.
Put them in a bag, sneak them out.
Yes, but the thing is that this happened with Star Wars years ago, where they didn't
Right.
expect Star Wars to be a big hit, so they had no product out there when the film came out, and so it became so popular. They had these certificates saying you can get your Han Solo.
Oh, I remember that. I used to throw tantrums in Alexander's when they didn't have the figures I wanted.
Oh, really?
My brother said, "You were really a pimp. They don't have my his land speeder." I went, "My brother says you would go crazy." He would laugh. I would blow a tantrum. Like, we had to get there earlier. I
But
know
if it were in the stores now, the Baby Yoda would be impossible to get. That's
Oh,
how
totally.
popular
Oh, yeah.
it would be. And I even I love the Baby Yoda. I mean, they portray him so wonderfully on the show because he's like, he's looks so innocent and cute, and yet in the last episode he wound up choking somebody.
I can't wait to see it. I'm holding back watching.
Yeah, but he's still cute and
My brother's like,
adorable.
"It's
But
really
he can
good."
choke people just by going.
Oh, he did the force.
And sometimes he does the paw thing, and nothing happens, and he goes like this.
Oh, that's PG and Big Trouble. Yeah, I'm gonna kill you.
Screw you, I will.
We love the Baby Yoda
Alex, if you could do the force
better
with Trump,
than I
that would be
ever
the-
loved the old Yoda. I love the Baby Yoda.
I love, my son and I were talking about the Yoda, the Muppet Yoda. And then remember when you, myself, and Michael Snyder went and saw the redo of the 3, and then he was CGI? I didn't like it.
No, I like the Muppet one better.
Same with
I
the.
remember when we saw Return of the Jedi. I
Well,
remember it says, a lot of the older kids were like, "Oh, that's all Muppets." I liked it.
Well,
I thought it was really
yeah.
good.
There's a thing.
That
Same
was
with
Jim Henson.
Jabba. Jabba was a Muppet.
There's a thing in
Yeah.
films. Well, he wasn't a Muppet. He was a big giant thing.
A big
But-
giant Muppet.
Big giant Muppet. But what happened is that the reason why you like the puppet Yoda was because he didn't look real. He looked like a puppet. So you had to do a thing they call suspending disbelief.
Yes.
And when you
suspend your
suspend disbelief, it works pretty well. But
Totally.
when
Yeah, it
when you
made
got
an
him
impression on me.
CGI'd, it's a little harder to suspend your disbelief because you go, "Oh, that's Yoda, but he's CGI now." And before
Right.
you actually had a Muppet puppeteer in Frank Oz doing
Yeah, I
Yoda.
liked it.
So
I got emotional when he died. I was like, "Oh God, Yoda's dying. This is bad."
But
I was like-
Yoda
but you did
didn't-
have an attachment to the character.
yeah, but
Yeah.
he didn't die.
Did he die in one? I thought he died in one of the films.
Yeah, he
Wasn't
died. He
Jedi?
died, but at the end, he's there with, Luke
Oh, yeah.
Skywalker's father and
Obi-Wan, yeah.
and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and
And
they're
the-
all looking.
Yeah,
at
but
Yeah,
you know
that
what?
was
We
true.
were like,
I got
"Oh,
emotional. Those
so
film ones. My brother's like,
cheesy."
"You know he's gonna cry in this."
What-
Yeah, so cheesy.
But the trouble was that when they redid the first 3, the very end when they're all dancing and singing with the Ewoks, what they did was when they showed the apparitions of these people, they instead of having the guy who played Darth Vader, or played actually what's his name? What's Darth Vader's real name? Anakin Skywalker. Remember, there was a guy who played him at the end because they took the thing off. They then put in the actor that was going to play Anakin Skywalker in his place. So, but thank God they changed the stupid music at the end of that film. The end of that third film. With the oh, it's just horrible. Just the worst. What pissed me off about that was that I went through two great films, and I had to come to the third one, and it was the last episode of the three, and it fucking sucked. You know, I mean, what were those Ewoks? Did Lucas say I didn't have enough toys last Christmas to sell? I think I'll come up with teddy bears with lips. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I have an Ewok toothbrush that is my brother Eric's.
Really?
And I'm sure that thing's worth some bank.
Yeah, about probably $3 instead of the $2 you paid for.
Forget it. You got to put MIB, mint in box. They'll go crazy over it.
MIB.
Yeah, but
you know, oh my God, he was in a coma for how many years, and then he died, and I was so pissed.
Wow. Wow. So I know for some people who are watching us, we got disconnected from the. It's just something else. It's always something. Yeah. But anyway, so I for some reason it died, but it's fine. It's doing fine.
Technology, it makes everything interesting, or frustrating,
or does it? You know?
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're back up again for those people who are watching the video, and we didn't lose anybody, so apparently they didn't know we were off.
Nope.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's what's happening with Baby Yoda and with toys for this Christmas. And I don't know, what's the biggest toy this Christmas? Anything?
I'm not sure.
By the way, be sure to tell her brother had that Ewok toothbrush, right? But did he wash
Well, no, I have it. Don't tell him I have it. He doesn't know I have it.
Did he wash his teeth with it?
I don't know.
Well, if he did, how much is it worth, Tony?
Well, if it's out of the box, forget it. You got to have that in the box still. You can't once it's out of the box.
The shrink wrap would be even better.
People on eBay are stupid, and my motto is, if you're willing to buy it, I am more than happy.
Just throw it in. I mean, if it's out of the box, you know what I do? Just throw it in the dishwasher.
It's from 1970 something.
Oh wow, they'll buy. Yeah, but the Star Wars fans are fanatics. I mean,
they're freaking psychotic.
Really?
I mean, yeah, they get dressed up. I mean, I know the Star Trekkers do that, but I know that holiday video show, I watched it once. Every time I go to the Comic-Cons, one guy is always selling the holiday special. He gets 20 a pop, and he can bring like 5 cassettes that he just dubs.
The Star Wars holiday special?
Like $100.
You mean the worst special of all time? Outside of Alex Bennett Wired again. The worst special of all time?
It was bad. And wasn't Harrison Ford on that, or no? Was he on it?
On Alex Bennett Wired again? No.
No, I mean, the Star Wars. I know the toys are a lot of money. I never got into it. My mom threw my toys out, but I never had anything in a box because I was like 9. So I used to just throw a tantrum. My brother said I was funny in the store because he says, "Oh, they don't have it." I was like, "We got to take him to McDonald's and to make him happy."
Star Wars holiday special
My brother has a Harrison Ford vest, the Han Solo vest. That's from, I don't know, 1970 something or 1980 something.
Really?
Cha-ching!
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But you know, it was a what those things are only, and you'll agree with me on this because you're into this, Tony. Those things are only as valuable as the people who want them. You know,
it is true. Shecky said that too, because you can have something, but it all depends what somebody. I hate to use the word, but what somebody want to pay for it and what you want to part with it.
Yeah.
You know,
how many there are.
Huh? And
Oh, there's a lot of stupid people out there. Believe you
But I
me.
tell you one thing, though.
Phil, what you're saying is how many people? What did you say?
No, how many items there are. If there's a million of those crackerjack things out there, it doesn't matter, how many people want it.
You know what it throws
plentiful
that throws
supply.
it up is when it's actually the condition.
Yeah.
Meaning, like if they have stuff in boxes, then you actually, as crazy as it sounds, you know what they're doing now, Alex? There's actually a grading company now that's actually taking the stuff that's in a box and they're putting it in hard plastic, like grading a comic book or a card, and then it's like an auction house, and then they're giving it to auction houses. And that's where you get the big money, because when you go to an auction house and go into a catalog, now they're going to sell it to people who have money. So if you have something you want to sell, I wouldn't sell it on eBay if you want to get like 10 grand or more. You got to go to Heritage or something like that, where they have the people who have deep pockets.
Yeah.
They'll send out their catalogs to people across the country or overseas.
And if you sell it on eBay, whatever the highest bid is, you got to sell the goddamn thing. You can't.
You really have to protect yourself.
You could put a reserve in, I guess.
You got to put a reserve.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, there's more people that buy stuff on eBay.
Yeah.
And, you don't have to pay the middleman
No, you'll just lose.
a phenomenal amount of money like you do with these heritage houses.
But the only thing bad, Kathleen, that I would say is if you're going to sell something for a lot of money, eBay gets 10%, Alex. But then you have to make sure that with that kind of volume of an exchange, say 15 grand, you have to make sure you collect the money, because it could be, they get the product. Sometimes you might not want to have to do a cash exchange of like 15,000 or more.
You don't sell. What were you gonna say? Well, hold on a second, Phil. You don't sell your stuff on eBay, right?
Who, me?
Yeah, you. Yeah.
Oh, I sell my low end stuff on eBay.
Okay.
Under $1,000.
What were you gonna say, Phil?
I sold. eBay changed.
Say under 2,000.
eBay changed the way they do business. Used to be somebody paid you got the money, and then you ship the thing. Now you got to ship the thing, and they may say, hey, what you shipped me didn't meet my criteria, and they ship you back a rock in the box, and you don't get your money. I sold a D4 Nikon camera, knew this thing was $6,000. Wow. I sold it for $2,500.
That's a lot of money.
And the guy never paid, but it never shipped. I guess, I don't know why he bought it, and he wouldn't answer anything. Just so I still got the camera, and I said, fuck it, I'll keep it,
Yeah.
And so now it's worth $1,400.
Yeah, but you know what it is too? It's like you said, sometimes, like, would you really, like, say if you had an item and it was worth, say, 5,000? That's a lot to, like, I wouldn't mind giving that to a house to say, hey, listen, or a store, say, hey, listen, I'll take 4,000 for it. You take your 8% and just tell me, and okay. I'd rather do it like that, where I don't have to worry about, oh, did he pay me? And I have to worry about him accepting the boxes. I would do with signature and stuff like that. But it's a little more involved in the transaction.
I haven't sold much on eBay lately. I got rid of 2 pieces of crap that, I would have thrown away, and I just sold them.
Hey, listen, there's our theme song, our lovable theme song. And I thank, first of all, I want to thank Ronnie for being with us tonight. And I want to thank Kathleen for being with us, and Charlie for being with us, and for Phil being with us. And Tom, it's always great to see you. Love to see you more often. Are you awake, Tom?
Oh, he's got the shirt. I like the shirt.
Jeff, thank you. Thank you to Tony, and thank you to Kevin. Why don't you guys all give a big wave goodbye, and I will wave back at you, okay? And say goodbye. Bye-bye. There they go, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry if we had a lot of sync here. We for some reason the video went out on the internet. I don't know. Anyway, fact of the matter is we got through the show, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll come back at you again tomorrow night, right after Damian Chaplin does the exchange. We'll be back here at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.